This is the Milwaukee M18 compact router, and this is my Ruthless review after owning it for 1 year. Welcome to the Outlaw Effect. If you'd like to check out this router or any other tool you see in this video, check them out, link in the description and the pinned comment to help you find them easier. I'm no stranger to cordless compact routers. I have a few here in the shop, and I could use another one or two. This Milwaukee M18 router is one of the better ones, but it does fall short in a couple of places in my opinion. Now I have Rigid, Ryobi, Flex, DeWalt, Rigid, Ryobi, so I have a couple of different ones from different brands. I'll compare the Milwaukee to a couple of them, but first let's talk about the Milwaukee by itself. As stated, I purchased this Milwaukee router with 2 batteries a year ago, a little over a year ago, and unboxing it was awesome. Out of the box you get 2 bases, a larger round and a smaller round. I typically keep the larger round on there just because I'm doing small trays and things a lot with this, and I like the bigger base. The router also comes with an edge guide, which is a fantastic edge guide. I've used this quite a bit. I like it a lot. I like that it's included with this package. It also comes with a dust port that works perfectly with the Festool hose, which is the dust extraction that I have. And as far as dust collection goes, if you hook it up to the dust extractor, it gets really good dust extraction. I've been kind of impressed with it. If you have suggestions on tools you'd like to see reviewed on this channel, comment below. Now, as far as features go on this Milwaukee M18 Fuel compact router, they do have a 1/2-inch collet 2 horsepower router now. I'd like to review that. If you'd like to see that, comment below. This compact router has a lot of cool features that a lot of other routers have, but still nice to have. It does have variable speed, and you're going to need that when you want to slow down bigger bits, speed up smaller round bits. That's what that's useful for. That way you don't get tear out and burning and all kinds of stuff. Kickback, like it's very handy to have variable speed. Not all your compact routers have that. There is also an LED light on the bottom, 2 of them actually. They work all right. I mean, it's not great, but it does give you a little bit of light. Again, this dust port will come off of there. You take this thumb screw out and this comes off. I like the fact that I leave that on there 99% of the time just because it collects a lot of dust that way. Now to raise and lower this, if you're trying to dial in just the right depth, especially like on trim bits or straight bits or anything like that, you release this switch, this will push that button to raise and lower this fast or take it all the way off. But there is a fine-tune adjustment wheel that will let you ease up on the cut or the depth that you want. When you're done, you lock that in place. Now, one thing I will tell you, when I got this, it kept slipping down. So when I would set the depth, I would go to routing edge profiles. As I went, the bit would get lower, in other words, cutting deeper, and caused me a little bit of issues. And all I had to do literally was tighten that bolt up right there, about 1/4 turn, solved it. So if you're having that problem or if you're worried about that, just tighten it up. It'll squeeze tighter. You won't have that problem anymore. I actually like Rigid's toggle switch a little bit better because it's a little more rigid. It just works better. I like the rigidness of it. And then Flex, I like theirs because it's just a push button. The Milwaukee was fine. It's just at a glance, you can't tell if it's on or off. And I would much prefer if it was a flip switch, much like the Rigid. As far as battery life goes, I bought this with the 2 5.0 XC batteries. I've had 0 issues with battery life. Batteries last a very long time. I've been putting this thing through the ringer for the last year. I've routed grooves with it, edge profiles, roundovers, chamfers. I've used this thing just like you would use any other router. It is by far one of my favorite routers, with one contender we'll talk about. But overall, the battery life and the power you get out of this little router is fantastic. You're not going to have to worry about that. I wouldn't have a problem routing 3/4 inch wide grooves with it within a decent amount of depth. You're talking 1/4 inch deep passes or something in plywood. I think you won't have any problem with it. Like, it has plenty of power. I do like the fact that they do give you a battery gauge right here on the front of the battery to let you know. Most batteries do this now, but I do like that gauge to let me know how much power I have left. It would be nice when I turned the router on if the battery indicator showed then how much battery is in it. Kind of like the M12 line, when you squeeze the trigger, you see the battery gauge. It would be nice if they added that on there just to have. Comfort and ease of use, it fits in the hand really well. Like, this is a very ergonomically made router, and the reason I bring that up is there's a couple of them that are way too big around up here, and if you're routing a bunch, your hands start hurting, or if it's too top heavy, it's just awkward to hold. Case in point is the Ryobi router. This thing is massively unbalanced, especially if you put one of the bigger 4 amp hour batteries in it. It is way heavy. Like, it really wants to tilt over. And where that matters is when you're putting edge profiles on, you go around a corner, like it just wants to tip over, causes a little bit of issue with the consistency of your roundover or your chamfer. So I really like that this is well balanced, very well balanced. Out of all the routers I have a Rigid and a Ryobi over there too, the older models, but these are the newer models, Rigid, Ryobi. Out of all of these, Ryobi's probably my least favorite, followed by the Rigid. Not that there's anything wrong with them, just using them every day, I found that these are the three I prefer. And the Milwaukee is by far the one I reach and grab the most because these two are almost identical. Now I know they're not made in the same factory, but I think Flex was looking over the shoulder of the DeWalt engineers when they come up with this. Everything about it looks so similar. These two are also much heavier than the Milwaukee. And so if you're using them for longer periods of time, you get a little more hand fatigue. And these both, the Flex and the DeWalt, both have a bigger round circumference on the part where you're holding it versus the Milwaukee. The Milwaukee just fits in the hand better for an average sized guy like myself. If you have really big hands, then these may be more comfortable to you. But if you have smaller hands, the Milwaukee is going to fit in your hand much better. And as far as power and battery life go, Flex claims 200% more power in their platform. I don't know. You tell me if that's true or not. I haven't seen it in any use that I've had out of these. I think the Milwaukee is one of the best routers you can buy. Unless you're really wanting the DeWalt brand or the Flex brand, I don't think you'll be disappointed with the Milwaukee at all. Now the way these three adjust as far as the depth goes, the Flex and the DeWalt are very similar. They have a twist ring. This one's, I've taken this off because this is mounted in a little mini router bench that I've made. So I don't have the twist ring on there, but it does have the exact same twist ring. Basically, you unloosen or you flip over that switch and then this twist ring will give you the micro adjustment. I actually like that quite a bit on both of these routers, but this has the little thumb screw that works just the same. This makes it a little more easier to me, in my opinion, versus trying to fiddle with this thing. But overall, the depth adjustment works just fine on all of them. They all three have a soft start. The DeWalt seems to have like a brake. It just comes to a stop much faster. Versus the Flex, that basically spins down, and then Milwaukee comes to a stop fairly quickly too. Not as quick as the DeWalt. They all three have 2 LEDs on there for lighting. 4 would be better. Y'all, come on. But that's all right. It works. It gives you enough light to see, especially in a well-lit area. You're not gonna have any issues there. Now, if you are in the Rigid or Ryobi platform and you're thinking about maybe I need another TTI brand and I want to step up to the Milwaukee, then there is a little bit of differences here. The Ryobi is not a brushless tool, where the Rigid and the Milwaukee both have the brushless motors, better power, better battery life, etc. But you can see they all three adjust very similarly with the flip switch and then the small dial that you can dial it up or down. As far as power goes, the Ryobi has plenty of power to do most tasks. In other words, profiles and things like that. The Rigid as well. The Rigid is a really nice tool. I've had Rigid since 2017 when I started in woodworking, and I've never been disappointed with them. I actually had a Rigid, this Rigid, go up in smoke and had to use the LSA, and they basically replaced this one, and then Rigid sent me this one as well as when I started working with them a little bit on some stuff. So they're really good tools. It just depends on what you're wanting. If you like that lifetime warranty, that's a good way to go. But the Milwaukee has a 5-year warranty, if I'm not mistaken. You let me know in the comments or I'll throw it on the screen here. One thing I thought was really cool, this was my first M18 tool. I bought it with the 2 battery combo kit. It came with a fast charger that does both M18 and M12 batteries, and I really appreciated that because I did pick up the M12 drill and driver set just a month or so before this one, and so the more red stuff I buy, the more red stuff I want. I think they're really doing some nice stuff here, and as a Rigid guy forever and then buying my first Milwaukee stuff, I've been very impressed with them so far. No issues at all, and I just really appreciate how well their tools are working for me. If you're ever looking for awesome deals on tools like this router and many others, I send out text messages when I find amazing deals, and I'm looking every day. All you gotta do is text the number on the screen, text the word deals, and I'll text you back. Now, I will not spam you, and I'm only gonna send you the best of the best tool deals. For everyday tool deals, you can check my website, 731woodworks.com. If you like this video, you gotta check out that video. It helps the channel out a lot, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching The Outlaw Effect.